Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to meet the true war machines of nature. Forget the lean bulls of the arena, because today we are stepping into the world of colossal beasts that make a tractor look like a child's toy. Have you ever seen a bull that weighs more than a small car? These animals are not merely big. They carry the kind of size, muscle, and presence that can stop you in your tracks. With necks like tree trunks and bodies built like moving walls, they look less like livestock and more like something forged for raw power. But this is not only a story about weight or muscle. These bulls are faster, tougher, and more remarkable than most people would ever imagine. Some were shaped by unusual genetics, some by centuries of breeding, and others by their ability to thrive where lesser animals would struggle. So as we go through these giants of the pasture, one question hangs in the air from the very beginning. Which of these monsters would leave you the most speechless? Part 1. Belgian Blue. If there were such a thing as a bodybuilding championship for cattle, the Belgian Blue would walk away with every trophy in the room. This bull does not merely look strong, it looks sculpted, as though nature decided that ordinary muscle was nowhere near enough. To look at a Belgian Blue is to see an animal built like a living machine, with muscle stacked upon muscle until its whole body seems almost unreal. But this astonishing appearance is not simply the result of size alone. It comes from a condition known as double muscling, a genetic trait that causes the animal to develop far more muscle than a normal bull. In simple terms, it is as if its body never received the message to stop growing. And the result is extraordinary. The Belgian Blue can grow to a massive weight and stand impressively tall at the shoulder, giving it the presence of a moving wall of muscle and hide. Yet what makes it even more remarkable is that it is not merely a giant brute. For something so heavily built, it can still run and even clear obstacles with surprising agility. That is what makes this breed so unforgettable. It is not just oversized. It is power, speed, and sheer physical excess combined in one animal. And if this is only the first bull on the list, what does that say about the beasts who are still to come? Part 2, Nylor. The Nylor does not need to be the most muscular bull in the field, nor the most aggressive, to command respect. Its strength lies somewhere else. It rules the pastures of Brazil with resilience, intelligence, and a quiet kind of superiority that other breeds struggle to match. While some bulls seem built only to fight or show off their power, the Nylor appears focused on what really matters: growing quickly, enduring hardship, and thriving where many others would fail. And that is what makes it so formidable. Originally from India, the Nylor was brought to Brazil in the 19th century, where it found the perfect environment for its talents. Heat, ticks, rough grazing land, and hard grass were not obstacles to this breed. They were conditions it handled with ease. Unlike other cattle that depend on carefully balanced feed and comfortable shelter, the Nylor can live on whatever vegetation is available and still put on weight. Yet its calm appearance should not fool anyone. This bull is fast, alert, and more agile than heavier breeds, with a leaner frame and long legs that allow it to move well across difficult ground. Even the hump on its back has purpose, storing energy and fat to help it endure drought and scarcity. So perhaps the real question is not whether the Nylor looks imposing enough, but whether endurance itself is the most dangerous strength of all. Part 3, Brahman. If the cattle world had a grand master of patience and endurance, that title would belong to the Brahman. At first glance, it may seem calm, almost serene, but behind that composed appearance stands an animal designed to survive where many others would struggle. The Brahman came from the crossing and selection of Indian Zebu cattle, and over time it was shaped into a breed with extraordinary hardiness. Heat that would exhaust other animals hardly seems to trouble it. Ticks in harsh conditions become little more than inconveniences. Even dry pasture that other breeds might ignore can still sustain its steady growth. In that sense, the Brahman feels less like an ordinary bull and more like a biological machine built for the toughest environments on Earth. Its large hump is not some strange decorative feature. It serves as a reserve of energy, helping the animal withstand drought and lean periods without losing its strength. But resilience is only part of the story. The Brahman is also known for being unusually intelligent. While other cattle may be handled more easily, This breed often seems to assess the situation first, almost deciding whether it wishes to cooperate at all. Breeders often say it learns quickly, and that means it remembers just as well. Add to that its strong growth and highly valued meat, and the picture becomes clear. The Brahmin is not merely tough, it is strong, clever, adaptable, and built to endure. And when intelligence is added to power, does that not make a giant even more impressive? Part 4, Frisian Holstein. If there is one bull or cow that people all over the world can recognize at a glance, it is the Frisian Holstein. That familiar black and white coat makes it look as though it has stepped straight out of a milk advertisement, but that easy recognition should not make anyone underestimate it. This breed is not famous by accident. While other cattle are admired for muscle, speed, or brute force, the Frisian Holstein built its reputation in another way entirely. It became a living engine of production, dominating the global dairy industry with a level of output that few other breeds could ever match. And the numbers explain why. A single cow can produce up to 40 liters of milk a day, which is exactly what turned this breed into such a worldwide phenomenon. That astonishing productivity did not appear overnight. It was shaped through centuries of careful selection, beginning in the Netherlands, where breeders pursued the idea of creating a cow capable of producing more milk than any other. The result was a dairy giant that spread across farms around the globe. Yet there is another side to this breed that people often overlook. These animals do not merely produce on an industrial scale, they also grow quickly and can become enormous. A Frisian bull can reach an imposing size and stand close to 1.60 meters at the shoulder, giving it the presence of a true giant in its own right. So when an animal is both familiar and formidable, does that not make it even more remarkable? Part 5, Chianina. The Chianina is not merely a large bull, it pushes the idea of size into an entirely different category. While many breeds impress people by reaching well over 1,000 kilograms, the Chianina seems to stand above them almost effortlessly, as if it belongs to a class of its own. Its numbers alone are enough to make people stop and stare. This bull can exceed enormous weights and rise to nearly 2 meters at the shoulder, which means it can face a person almost eye to eye without needing to lift its head. That alone gives it a presence that feels less like livestock and more like a giant from another age. Yet for all its size, it is not as slow or clumsy as people might expect. In fact, it moves with far more agility than its immense frame would suggest. The reason for that extraordinary scale lies in the deep and disciplined genetics of the breed. The Chianina comes from Italy and has been raised for more than 2,000 years, reaching back to the time when the Romans were still dominating the ancient world. These animals were valued not only for meat, but also for labor, pulling carts and plows with a strength that must once have seemed almost prehistoric. But the Chianina is not simply an ancient relic of brute force. It grows quickly, yields more meat than most breeds, and remains highly productive. Even its elegant white coloring has a practical role, helping to reflect heat and allowing it to cope well with high temperatures. When a breed combines history, power, size, and efficiency like this, is it any wonder that it feels almost legendary? Part 6, Parthenais. The Parthenais is the kind of bull that deserves far more recognition than it usually receives. It may not dominate popular conversation in the same way as some of the more famous giant breeds, but in terms of physical ability, it stands among the true elites. This French bull combines strength, muscle, and athletic grace in a way that feels almost contradictory at first glance. It is powerful enough to impress anyone who sees it, yet it carries that power with remarkable control and balance. A Parthenais can reach an imposing weight and stand around 1.60 meters at the shoulder, giving it the kind of stature that immediately commands attention. But what makes it especially striking is not simply its size, it is the way it moves. For an animal so large, it shows an unexpected lightness, with long, well-proportioned legs that allow it to move with the ease of something much less massive. That blend of strength and agility is part of what made the breed so useful over the centuries. The Parthenais was not just admired for its build, it worked. It was used for heavy traction, pulling plows and carts with the kind of force that once made it invaluable in demanding agricultural labor. In other words, this was never just a decorative giant. It was functional power in its purest form, And then there is the meat, which is where the breed reveals another side of its value. The Parthenese is known for exceptional tenderness, excellent marbling, and a refined flavor that places it among highly prized premium beef breeds. So perhaps the real surprise is not that this bull is powerful, but that such power can come wrapped in so much balance, elegance, and quality. Part 7. Limousin. The Limousin did not come into the world to be overlooked. It feels as though nature shaped this breed with a single purpose in mind, to become an extraordinarily efficient machine for producing meat. This is not an ordinary bull with a bit of extra size. The Limousin can grow beyond 300 kilograms and reach up to 1.60 meters at the shoulder, giving it the presence of a true heavyweight in any field. But what makes it stand out is not size alone. It grows quickly and does so with striking efficiency, needing less fuss than many other breeds while still delivering an impressive return. While others may require more careful attention to put on weight, the Limousin seems to thicken and develop almost effortlessly. Its body looks as though it was built for one clear function: to produce as much lean, high-quality meat as possible with very little excess fat. Yet this breed is not simply a passive giant. The Limousin has energy, speed, and a temperament that demands respect. It is not the sort of bull to be treated carelessly, and many breeders know that it can be sensitive and unwilling to tolerate too much interference. That is part of what makes it so compelling. Beneath the heavy muscle is an animal that remains alert and capable of sudden movement, proving that great size does not always mean sluggishness. And then there is the meat itself, which explains why this breed has become one of the most widely raised beef cattle in Europe and beyond. It is tender, lean, succulent, and highly valued in the market. So when a bull combines rapid growth, physical power, efficient feeding, and premium beef in one package, does it not begin to look like one of the most complete meat breeds in the world? Part 8. Charolais. The Charolais is not merely a large bull. It is colossal, a breed that seems to have been created for one overwhelming purpose: to grow, dominate, and convert its sheer size into extraordinary productivity. This is not an animal built for display or speed alone. It carries the presence of something much heavier, broader, and more forceful than most cattle people are used to seeing. A Charolais bull can easily pass 1,000 kilograms and stand up to 1.70 meters at the shoulder, which gives it the scale of a living freight vehicle. If one of these giants decides to face you head-on, its size alone is enough to make the point. But what truly sets the Charolais apart is not just how large it becomes. It is the speed and efficiency with which it puts on that mass. While other breeds may spend months turning grass into modest gains, the Charolais seems to grow with astonishing ease, as though it has unlocked some hidden advantage of nature. Its genetics help explain why. Developed in the Charolais region of France more than 2 centuries ago, this breed quickly attracted worldwide attention because it offered exactly what cattle producers wanted most: great size, strong growth, excellent meat quality, and impressive resilience. It is not simply a giant, but a practical giant, capable of adapting well to different climates while continuing to perform at a very high level. And then comes the final reason for its global reputation: the meat itself. Charolais beef is lean, tender, and highly prized on the market, which is why this breed became one of the most widely raised beef cattle in the world. So when an animal grows this fast, reaches this size, and still delivers such valuable meat, is it any surprise that the Charolais has earned its place among the true titans of the pasture? Part 9. Simmental. If there were an award for the most versatile cattle breed on earth, the Simmental would be a serious contender for the title. This bull is not defined by only one strength. It is large, muscular, productive, and impressively adaptable, combining qualities that many other breeds possess only in part. In sheer size alone, it is already formidable. A Simmental can exceed 1,300 kilograms and reach around 1.60 meters at the shoulder, giving it the stature of a true giant. But its value goes beyond appearance. It grows quickly, and while some breeds take their time to reach ideal market weight, the Simmental seems ready before many would expect. That alone makes it highly attractive, but it is only the beginning of what sets this breed apart. What truly lifts the Simmental into a category of its own is its dual-purpose nature. This is not merely a strong beef animal, it is also a capable milk producer, which gives it a level of usefulness that few giant breeds can match. Cows of this breed can produce around 6,000 liters of milk per lactation, an impressive figure for animals that are also so effective in meat production. And unlike breeds that perform well only in specific environments, the Simmental adapts to a wide range of climates. From intense heat to severe cold, it continues to thrive, grow, and produce. Whether in Brazil, the Swiss Alps, or harsher landscapes, it remains dependable. So after seeing a breed that offers size, speed of growth, quality meat, milk production, and resilience all in one, the question becomes simple. Is versatility itself the greatest strength of all? After this journey through the giants of the pasture, one thing becomes impossible to ignore. Not all bulls are created equal. Some astonish with overwhelming muscle, like the Belgian Blue. Some dominate through endurance and adaptation, like the Nelore and Brahman. Others built their reputation through astonishing productivity, like the Frisian Holstein, while breeds such as the Cayennina, Parthenaise, Limousin, Charolais, and Simmental prove that size can come paired with speed, efficiency, versatility, and remarkable value. Each one represents a different kind of greatness, but all of them remind us that the world of cattle is far more extraordinary than most people ever realize. These are not simply farm animals. They are living monuments to strength, survival, and selective breeding across centuries. And now that you have seen these true titans, there is only one question left. Which of these giants impressed you the most? Let us know in the comments, and do not forget to subscribe for more astonishing creatures and facts from the natural world.